Many of us really like storytelling, and we have realized at the moment of starting to write that we don't know what we're doing. That's what happened to me. So I did the work into learning different story structures, what make them work, what do award-winning storytellers do that others don't do, and why is that? Some things that I've realized that we all have some sense of internal storytelling within us. Even if that storytelling is not structured, we all have some sense of storytelling. And today we're going to start um, making that structure more apparent to us. Here you have the visual representation of what we're going to be using. This is the one I'm going to teach you, but I want you to know that every element in this structure can be changed, can be moved around, can be modified to fit your needs and your goals. So whenever you see that things go up, doesn't mean that it's positive, and when you see things go down, doesn't mean they're negative. They just mean that they go on opposite directions because we see better when there's contrast. So this story structure, this story structure is meant to make us be able to create contrast. So what we're trying to say is more visually striking or more intellectually inciting. It all is all going to depend on our medium of choice. This is book to film adaptations because the thing that I like the most is seeing the difference between different ways of storytelling. We see how there are 8 bits. Let's start from the beginning. My name is Zen, and I'm the author of Axiom Regalia, Fate of Hate. And this is let me find for you this the book so you can see this is Axiom Regalia, Fate of Hate, as or you cannot see it because it's on another screen, but well, I'll show you in another moment. And here we have the different elements that make different stories. In American or Western storytelling, there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of um, how would I say this? Not just drama, but there's a lot of opposite points or points that conflict. There's a lot of conflict. That's the word I was looking for. So you have an inciting incident that's usually something huge. Then we have different points that create more drama and more drama. And usually the feeling that they give you is, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happens. There was a time in which that would work, but we're not there anymore. That was early 2000, 2010. But by the time we're in 2015, that style of storytelling changed and we evolved as audience. So now we're finding out that we are getting attracted to other story structures like the one that they use in Asia and I'm going to say Japan because I'm a huge anime fan. So in anime, they use Kishotenketsu, and Kishotenketsu doesn't rely in conflict to tell you a story, but it gives you characters and character motivation. So by mixing those two types of storytelling, we have this. This is a mix between Kisho Tenketsu, as you can see at the end. We have the Kisho Tenketsu. I don't know if you can see it. That's the 4 last bits. That's to create the emotional connection with the characters. But in the four first beats, we have American storytelling, the hero's journey, a lot of ups and downs. So by creating this mix between ups from one side, downs from the other, and mixing it with the emotional intensity that Kisho Tenketsu brings, we have a hybrid, emotional hybrid between plot and character. And many stories, they tell you, oh, here you write the inciting incident. What do you do in the midpoints? What are you supposed to do in the conflict? But they don't tell you what that means in storytelling. That's what you're going to learn here, because inciting incident means, well, we'll go more in detail in each of them more in the future. But as for now, as you are looking at this right now in this video, I want you to get the idea that there are many elements that make a good story, and all those elements have to be present all throughout the story. Doesn't mean that they all have the same importance, but they are all present throughout the story during all the story. So even when we talk about secondary characters, the secondary characters have to make the main character, your MC, more important. Even when we tell the story, in some way, we have to tell our MC's story. So this is going to allow us to discover those small things within our story. If I was to write Axiom Regalia again, I would change some things that I've learned through the process of using this structure, because I created this structure and I created Axiom Regalia as a test to see if storytelling could be made easy. So this is what we're going to be learning. What does inciting incident means? What's the introduction? What does fun and games mean? What first laws, consequences, and what a twist is? What does it mean to have a slow middle? What does it mean to have too many things happening? Because at the end, when we tell stories, they should be relevant. They should be relevant maybe to us or our context. They have to say something. And there was a time in which we didn't care about stories saying things, we just wanted stories. But now there's so many stories out there that to stand out, we should make stories that say something. Here you see that there are numbers, and the one that says 2.75, 3, 2.5. If you work better with numbers and emotional intensity, this will tell you in which point each story is, or what has to be happening in terms of emotional intensity. But if you need words, here I have the words, and there are the 7 types of plot that they use in the West. There um, 7 type of stories, and this is fantasy, science fiction, romance, and each have different. They all have different genre conventions. So we learn about genre conventions, plot structure. We learn about internal journey, external journey. What does it mean that a character has an archetype? And how do all those things mix to tell a different story or tell the story we want to tell? Here, these numbers correspond to these plot points, and in different points we're going to make different things take a more important scene. So I want you to know that your story is going to get better just by engaging with this story structure. Your story is going to be 1,000 times better, because you're going to start realizing that if the thing your villain did at the end, we should be able to see what was the motivator early on into the story. And that's something that we're going to be able to decide through this, because at the end, It's about choice. The things you choose to tell important. And in the future, we'll also understand where does AI fit in storytelling and why you don't need it. Even if you feel like you do need it, let me tell you, you don't. Because the story you are telling is unique to your own experience. And the moment you filter it through the lens of AI, you dilute what makes it unique and you make it more common. By comparing it and compressing it through the things that make it common. And your story is thousand times better when you write it with your voice. Even with those things that you think they're mistakes, they are voice channels, and your voice wants to come out in a way. So we're going to learn how to get your voice out without the feeling that you need something external. This isn't, this is just a guide. And it's a guide by making you questions. And if there's a question you don't want to answer because it's not relevant to your story as a choice, or even if you didn't realize it could be relevant, this will make it conscient to you. So that's what we're going to talk about for today. I just wanted to introduce you to the idea of story structure and what it means to have a visual structure. And here you can see again how things go up and down, and how that can mean positive and negative, can mean romance versus fantasy, can mean horror versus mystery. And depending on the story you are trying to tell, it will show in different ways. So don't be shy, interact with this video, give me like, follow me, and I hope to see you soon. I'll try to upload videos every day, and they're going to get better because this is new to me, and I'm trying to get out of my shell as well. And there's no better way of doing things than collaborating and inspiring others to do better. So thank you very much for being here, and I want you to tell your story.